Real quick, Star Citizen is moddable multiplayer, hosted by you. Allowing user-generated content is a key design goal. Our modding tools will allow players to design new ships for both submission to the persistent RSI ship dealer network, or to build custom ships and items for the self-hosted multiplayer mode. Hardback-bound 42-page engineering manual for modders, $20.
I really want to get to at least $4 million overall, as this will allow us to do more sooner, especially on things like the modding tools.
The game will include the option for private servers, like Freelancer, and will offer plenty of opportunities for players who are interested in modding the content. Unlike many games, none of these aspects is an afterthought. They all combine to form the core of the Star Citizen experience.
You know, on your own server, you can do whatever you want. You can fully script events, things of that nature. You won't be able to put them up into the verse, at least onto our servers, unless they've been approved and run through our QA group. But yeah, I mean, on your own servers, it's, you know, it's kind of like running your own MMO, essentially. Oop! Your own community game, or MMO, whatever we want to call it.
I don't know if it's in the very first release because we've got a lot of stuff to do. So in the early persistent beta stuff, you know, the level of the mod tool side stuff will be much more limited, and then we'll be rolling that stuff out after we've got like the persistent universe running and people are playing with it. We can start having all the rest of the stuff all working, because there's a big suite of stuff. But so long term, yes. Short term, you may have to wait a little bit.
Star Citizen is calling all you modelers, texturers, and riggers for the likes of a modding competition that you've never seen before.
So in the spirit of Star Citizen's open development philosophy, we've decided to create a competition to build Roberts Space Industries' Next Great Starship. If you're an aspiring modder, a modeler, or just a conceptual designer or artist, we encourage you to enter this competition.
I mean, one of the tenets of Star Citizen is to allow players to sort of do some of their own modding, maybe even create their own little local server to mod and play the game down the road. And so from the beginning, we're really trying to have those tools there for the users. And we thought, you know, what better way to sort of bring it to the forefront and involve the community, which is a big part of how we're building this game, is the community is involved in the process of building it, not just playing it at the end.
The interior is not bad, but the interior is just like mind-blowing.
There's a bed for every crew member, which also doubles.
And it's all in engine,
it's ready to go. However,
there's a coffee maker.
Yeah, this is Disney style.
Now, this is actually classed as, let's just say, a fighter stroke troop carrier.
The Redeemer is actually in the pipeline to be upgraded properly, because the original Redeemer was made to look good in the video.
This needs to be completely redone from scratch. It doesn't fit metrics. It doesn't fit all the gameplay that's supposed to go in it. It's not an optimal for performance layout, and it's a weird gunship dropship hybrid. It was in Squadron because of the dropship aspect, not of the gunship aspect, but it only could carry 6 people, I think, which isn't a great dropship. So when we came to the realization we need to do this from scratch, it was a case of...
It's a pretty hot topic.
The slider is a constant topic of discussion on the forum.
It is, fair enough.
So yeah, the slider is a preference. It is not an absolute. So you can't, no matter how far you take that slider, you can never prevent PvP content.
Unless you're running your own server.
Well, if you're running your own server, then you can do whatever you want to some extent.
But I wouldn't rule that out later on down the road in terms of allowing people to build their own sort of encounter maps for Arena Commander, because that would be fairly easy to do. I mean, the only caveat is that the modding side of the tools require a lot more sort of polish than sort of our internal dev tools. And so in terms of those getting in people's hands, our current schedule is get the game out and then sort of get polished sort of modding tools out after the game. Next year, probably towards the end of it, is when everything will be all together in one package with most of the content there. So really from sort of the end of this year to the end of next year, it's really going to be a big content drive and fine-tuning and honing drive. I mean, we've got the Redeemer already, and we actually would like to bring a few of the other ships from Next Great Starship into the game when we have time. We've got such a huge backlog of ships that it takes some time to get everything in. If it passes the quality bar, it could potentially be deployed into the game and then sold online, and perhaps there was some kind of revenue split that would go between the creator of it and the game itself, just like you have. Valve does this pretty well. So that would be a path, maybe the same for clothing on characters. And we're also toying around with doing some kind of mission editor stuff. That's kind of longer term, but again, those would all be tools that would be very useful for all the modding stuff that we need to do anyway, and maybe deploy some of that earlier to allow some people, say in our sort of test bed, to come up with like some encounters or something, and then submit them in, and we pick the best encounter and roll that out to everyone else. With one of the patches or stuff like that. So we're definitely thinking about that. That is definitely part of our plans, and it's really just sort of fitting it in with all the other myriad things we've got to do. But it will happen.
Private servers are the absolute last thing on the list. I mean, they are the last. There is nothing that comes after private servers. I mean, as far as a live release. In fact, we will be live. We will be done with alpha. We will be done with beta. We will be live and in operation for some time before anybody even looks at private servers.
It almost makes you wonder why Chris ever gave that as an option, because
that was because when we thought what the scale of this was at the beginning. So it's still something we want to do. It's still something, but nobody's even thinking about it.
It seems ludicrous almost now to think about. Yeah,
it's so far away. There's just, I mean, there is a good chance one of the five of us will be dead.
Very good, yeah, pretty much.
Wait, I'm just talking about numbers.
It is you, Captain Richard. We're talking about you.
Yeah, he's the marked one. You're not supposed to tell the guy.
No, we're definitely going to do tools to allow people to do content creation and stuff. So it's not going to be, unfortunately, in the next few months or even the next year. But after that, I mean, it is part of our plans. It's but you should be able to have, like the way freelancers did. You run a server and you can have 100 people on it or something and go around, an area you design or whatever. So, there you go.
We promised early on that there would be mod tools and stuff like that. So at some point later down the development, we will have to start developing a program that would assist you guys in that, assist you guys in being able to create mods, because we all want to see the Star Wars version of this. We want to see you guys modding and stuff like that. Fan-created videos, the simplest type of mod in the world. There used to be far more of those until we had to start locking down our builds and whatnot. And I've talked with Chris about creating content releases where basically we give you the assets and stuff separate from the game, so they're not all encrypted and stuff like that. So there's a lot of talk about it, but it's not a thing that needs an answer right now. So it doesn't have one. One of the earliest pledge goals when the project launched in 2012 was the ability to run private servers. So I can't tell you what shape or form or how robust that's going to be, because the scope of the game has increased quite a bit since 2012. But I know it comes up every once in a while, and it's like, yeah, we have to make the game first, and then we figure out, what we can provide to you as far as tools with private servers and stuff. But it was one of the earliest things we offered with Star Citizen. So it will happen. It's just a question of what form, what shape, size, and form it will take when that day comes.
Star Citizen is first-person space combat and trading in a massively multiplayer persistent universe and customizable private servers.
Learn the ins and outs of modding Star Citizen's private servers with this helpful guide. Want to create your own ship, modify a game mechanic, or build your own planet? Look no further.